Hi YouTube, welcome to what is the difference between if, else if and else. Well, if else is actually one of the basic building blocks of programming. Yet a lot of my students, they seem to be confused on when should you use if, when should you use else, and when should you use else if. So today we are going to actually look at an example and to see how to use them. So without further ado, let's move to the coding example. Okay, so I have actually pre-written an example here. As you can see, if I were to just make if not slash if I were to put in 1, you can see that it prints out 1. If I put in 2, it prints out 2. If I put in 3, if I put in 3, ooh, my bad. If I put in 3, it will actually print out 1 and 2. So what happens here is this. So when I actually print, let me just change this to a pen. So when I actually input 1, what happens here is that num, after you scan f, num is actually 1 is actually put into num. So num equals to 1, num equals to 1, not I, my bad. So now, here when num equals to I, when I compare num, is num the same as I? Yes, so that's why it printed 1. So if I were to change the example, when I actually put num, when I put 2 here, so when it checks, is num the same as 2? Nope. Then it goes to here, it will check if num is equals to 2 or not. When it's yes, then it will print 2. And then here, please ignore this. So if I were to change it to 3, what happens? So if I were to change it to 3, it will become num equals to 3. So here I will check, is num the same as 1? Nope. And then I'll check, is num the same as 2? Nope. Then it's the else case, so I'll print not 1 and not 2. So the first condition is this. If I actually only have this part, if I don't have this, will it work? Yes, it will. So a very quick example to show you that it will work. So if I were to block comment is actually I will instruct the program to actually not read or actually not compile this part. This is actually just comments. So if I were to make if I were to dot slash if. So if I were to put 1, it still works. But if I were to dot slash if I were to put 2, now you can see there's nothing that happens. What happens here is this. When I actually put in 1, so num will be 1. So I check, is num 1? Yes, then it executes this part. That's why you see 1 here. But if I were to actually put 2 inside, so I will put num equals to 2, then is num equals to 1? Nope, then nothing else is happening here. So because since this is false, then it will not do this. It will not come in here. Okay? So now let's give a very quick example. So what if I actually uncomment this and I put in here and then I actually comment this out also? What happens to this? So if I were to actually make if, so it will actually say that, oh, this doesn't work because when you say else without putting it after an if, it will be like if, because else means that if the thing above is incorrect, then try and check if this condition is correct or not. So your if statement, right, will always need to be, it will start with the first if and then continue with the second if. But then the next question is this: can you actually write an if statement, 2 if statements consecutively? Can you do that? Yes, you can. So if I were to change this to this, and I were to change this to this, now let me just make this, make a if, and then dot slash if, and if I put in 1, it works. And if I were to actually put in 2, it works. So now the question is, if this is the case, why do you need to put an else in front? That means you don't need to, because if you're actually putting num here, so if I were to actually get an eraser to erase this first, if we put in num equals to 1, so which is what we did here, it will check, is num equals to 1? Yes, then I'm going to print. Is num equals to 2? Nope, then I'm not going to do anything here. So then the next thing is, if I were to actually change this whole thing and then num equals to 2, then it will check if is num equals to 2. Nah, I'm not going to do it. Is num equals to 2? Yes, then I print this. So the interesting part is this. Why do you need else if then? So just to give you a very quick example, if I were to change this to 1, then you will see the difference. So if I were to make if again, dot slash if, when I put 1, you will see that it will print 1, 2. And if I were to change this second if to else, then you will see that the difference. Make if, and dot slash if, when I put 1, it will only print 1. What's the difference? The difference here is this. This particular keyword else here means that if this thing is false, then it will check this. If this thing is true, if the first line is true, it will do this and it will skip whatever that is below. It will not check anything anymore. But if I actually take this out, it will check this. If this is true, it's going to do it, and then it will also check this, and then it will do this. So else actually says that if this is false, then I will check. If this is true, I'm going to ignore this case. Okay, and the same goes to this. Else here, right, will only work if this is false and this is false. So this is actually the difference between them, and this difference, right, could actually be the difference between your logic working, or you might actually have a logic that it seems to work but somehow is weird. So the else keyword there, right, is actually the one that ties the second if to the first. If the first is true, it will skip the second if. If the first if is false, then it's going to check the second if to see if it's true or not. Okay? Now the last thing that we are going to talk about is actually else. Like I have just said just now, else here will only work if this is false and this is false. If any one of this is true, this will actually not work. So if the first one is true or the second one is true, then this one will be skipped totally. So this is actually the basic difference between if, else, and else. Else means that if whatever above everything else is wrong, then else will be the condition. So as I've demonstrated, you can actually write only one if. You can write two ifs together if both of the conditions are not related. But if they are related, you need to put an else before the second if. And can you write else if just by only else if? You can't. Can you write else only? You can't, because whenever you have a keyword else, it depends on the if above. So else if will depend on the if before, and else will depend on the if above or the else ifs if you have any of them. So this is actually the basic differences between if, else, if, and else. If you have any questions or any suggestions, please feel free to write in the comments. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you would like to actually receive updates whenever I upload new videos, please subscribe to my channel. Oh yeah, I actually should do this in this particular... Okay, so that's all of our sharing today. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment and let me know. Or if you have any suggestions, you are welcome to comment. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you would like to receive updates whenever I update new videos, please subscribe to my channel. And if you'd like to learn more about computer science, public speaking, or business, I have other videos here that might be suitable for you. So that's all for today, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and bye!